Welcome to the King Leo Show, everybody. My name is King Leo. And today we have an interesting show. I'm sorry that I'm late. Let's make sure the audio's good. The King Leo Show, everybody. And the audio's perfect. How's everyone doing tonight? Thank you, Nefarious, for your understanding, sir. I haven't seen you here before. I don't know if you're new. How is everyone doing tonight? Welcome to the King Leo Show. I'm your host, King Leo, otherwise known as the new Jon Stewart. What? Am I self-titled the new Jon Stewart? I guess so. How's everyone doing tonight? I'm a little late only because Twitter was crashing out on me. It was driving me nuts. But we're okay now. We actually have all of our news because we have a lot to get through today. I don't know if we'll get to everything. I'm not sure if we can get to everything, especially this denaturalization thing, which we have to go to some PVD watch. You guys remember PVD, the other goat? So it's going to be interesting. Mr. Elu, how you doing? 700 billion is enough to run X. Well, dude, it was the cookies at the end of the day. I was like, is X down? But it was the cookies in my Brave browser. And I'm like, how is X not built for this? It can't handle more than 50 tabs or it goes nuts. I think it has to do with that rate limiting crap. But, you know, how's everyone doing tonight? We have to talk about Venezuela. We're not really going to talk about Trump's boring speech. That speech was so bad. My producer was ecstatic. He was like, hell yes. Because he wanted a boring speech. He was like, if we get a boring speech, maybe people will start to see that Trump is all smoke and mirrors. You know, maybe even the most fervent believers will see that. And you as a couple of weeks as Nefarious. I appreciate you, sir. Like, comment, subscribe. And I think that he delivered on that. Trump did deliver on that. It was a very boring speech. If you bet on him mentioning Venezuela, you lost money on Polymarket. Are we going to war with Venezuela? I mean, there's a couple interpretations. I don't think we really have any real understanding. Seems like Congress has been briefed. You'd expect in the speech some sort of threat, but that didn't happen. So what's actually happening? I have no idea, dude. And anyone that's telling you they know, I've seen people, they keep posting, oh, the troops are eating steak and lobster. That means they're going to war. Dude, with this guy, you have no idea what's going on. You literally have no idea what's going on. Even people that are plugged in, like Tucker Carlson, unless he was just trolling, which he's known to do, did not know what was going on. So this is an important conflict. I want to talk about Candace Owens and Erika Kirk because I think I'm going to start having... I think Erika Kirk may not be the evil woman anymore. I think Erika Kirk... I think I might have... I'm making an apology form. A Baudrillardian apology form. I'm sorry. I got sucked into the reel. I think the whole thing may be a giant grift, and I thought it was real because someone died, you know. But the grift has surpassed us, so we'll see. We'll see. All right. Mr. Elu says you're the Gen Z Jon Stewart. Freelandism. Let's see. Let's see if we get there. And Dale's Volt says I think you're trolling, bro. Listen, we're gonna really have to talk about it because what Erika Kirk, it kind of pulled back the layers here. So let's get through the plugs. And then we'll get into the show because I want to get through these quick. Look, we got our first Patreon member, which is Audio Vibes. Appreciate you, Audio Vibes. Give that shout out. Audio Vibes, I appreciate you. We have here the movie review or movie analysis, I prefer. Series has started with The Truman Show. $5 a month gets you access to that. I'm filming the next one tomorrow, and it's going to be, I had a request for They Live, and that'll be after this one. It's going to be about the 2010s in TV. You remember the 2010s? Mad Men, Breaking Bad, and The Walking Dead. Fascinating time. We have our What Would Piers Morgan Do bracelet. Or the What Would a Postmodernist Do bracelet. This is still in debate. We'll talk about this further. Okay? Not affiliated, not endorsed by Piers Morgan. And we have the Discord, which is completely free. The link is in the description. We have a couple of people in there already. So, appreciate it. Dale Svolt says, you're very young and naive to the world. Well, I don't think I'm naive. I think that's really possible. But, yeah, I'm definitely young, man. I don't feel naive. But, hey, that childlike wonder, people chase it. So, let's get started. We are going to get to that Mr. Elu. Mr. Elu knows what's up. Let's start with Schizo Watch, man. Now, there's There's 2 Hispanic videos on Schizo Watch today, dude. And one of them, I'm not a hypocrite. I called out Vivek yesterday. I said, is there an Indian council that can get him to shut up? I will put my voice out here before we start this because I know this may get some people angry. This young lady needs to calm down. I don't know what she's talking about. Let's watch what she has to say here about immigration.
Let me hold your hand when I say this. We do not move to America because we think it's a better country. We move here because it's a little less worse than our other countries. Because you're stupid to think that we moved to this country for some hot dogs and some baseball. We have better vibes, music, food, culture, history, literally all of the above. We just move here because we are looking to make more money and offer a better chance for our families. Did you know that the minimum wage a day, not an hour, a day in Mexico is not even 15 American dollars? Not even 15 American dollars. Right now with $15 in San Diego, I could go maybe buy a matcha and half of a granola bar, honey. If you support ICE, you support people getting destroyed. If you support families getting destroyed, I hope you rot in hell. And I will see you there, babes, for sure.
Politics aside,
Family.
Okay? You can hate ICE, you can love ICE. It doesn't really matter for our purposes here. This young lady, Mr. Elu, nailed it. She's just treating America as an economic zone. I must disavow. I don't know if this young lady is Mexican. I get that vibe because of how she talked about Mexico. Yeah, she looks, I don't know, she looks like Central American, but she could also be like South American. She could be Colombian, Mexican, Honduran. Listen, we cannot stop embarrassing us. Please stop. We can't do this. This is not okay. This is not okay. Look. I think that this attitude is not bad to take, to be honest. I know a lot of Americans will disagree and they'll say it's wrong. But guys, we're all getting screwed here. I'm saying beyond this young lady. Citizens, non-citizens, heritage Americans, we want to call them that. You know, the Anglo, the Scotch, Irish, guys, we're all getting screwed. We're all getting screwed all the time. So it may not be bad to adapt to that and go, well, you know, I'm going to get mine, right? I have friends who've done it. I've had white friends who did this. I had white friends who were like, fuck it, dude. If I can get on food stamps and I make money anyway, but I can just lie, I'll get them. I'm not encouraging that, but I'm just saying this is not an attitude that is strange. You know, people are realizing, they're waking up that America, the people in charge, they don't really care about us. They don't really care about us. You know, they are in their world and we are in ours. Now, however, I must say, as a fellow interloper, maybe, right? I mean, I'm a citizen. I was born here. I love this country. We can't be talking like this about the white people's country, dude, about the black people's country. It's their country, dude, about the Indian people's country. This is embarrassing. Don't embarrass me in front of these white people, please. If you think that ICE is mean, wait till they see your video. What are they going to start saying? Do you think that this is effective propaganda for the Hispanic community, young lady? I don't think it's appropriate. You got to treat these white people, these black people, these Indians that have been here for 500 years with some respect. You can be against ICE, but we have a better history. Listen, it's not a competition, okay? I will agree on some aspects. I think Mexican painting is some of the best in the world. I think Mexican food is very good, but American food is great too. I'm actually an American food lover, okay? So we don't have to compete here. We are all Americans at the end of the day. We're on the American continent. Save this energy for the colonizers. Save it for Spain. All right? So you'll be glad to know if you are more anti-Hispanic. I disavow. I'm not happy with this behavior, okay? Just Jerry Podcast says, I don't appreciate her finger in my face. Yes, this is very aggressive. You should not point at people like this. All right. Mr. Elo says, I like American food as well. Dude, spaghetti and meatballs is not Italian. It's American. It was made here. And when you go to Italy, I don't want to sound like a Philistine. Italian American food is better than the Italian food. America has great food. Okay. People are saying, oh, spaghetti's not from here. Well, they made it better. Okay. Hamburger, that's not made in Germany. That's made here. You know, that's great. I love American food. Sometimes the spices are a little bit low for my taste, but that's fine. It's good food. Soul food, that's American? What, because they're black, it doesn't count? I love pig's feet, you know? So, Nefarious says, she is not correct for the majority of those who are literally invading most European nations, as 80% are on welfare, have babies, and taking over towns, villages, and London stand exist. Not sure what you mean there, brother, because she's talking about America, but we get to England sometimes on this show. Let's move on here. This here is a young man that I have frequently attacked on this show. If you don't remember, this guy is the one that started the White Lives Matter rally in Miami. That had me confused because I was like, dude, show me the white people that are under attack in Miami. We all get along. Why are you bringing tension here? His whole shtick is interviewing people, asking them racist questions on Miami Beach. And if you want to do that, can you not do it here? We all get along here. Everyone gets along here, all right? But he did this interview here, and this is in Miami as well. The reason I'm showing it for Schizo Watch is because this young African-American gentleman gave the best answer. Yesterday, we had a great answer to one of these street interviewers, okay? But this answer is even better. This is how you shut down a street interview. This is how you stop the schizophrenia in America.
Have you heard that Trump's trying to pass a bill neutral on it?
Whoa. Sorry, guys. Elon is trying to sabotage me.
Have you heard that Trump's trying to pass a bill and he's trying to deport all the Somalians out of the U.S.? How do you feel about that?
I didn't know about it.
You didn't know about that?
No.
If you had a message to Trump, what would it be?
I don't really got nothing to say to him.
Do you like him?
I don't have no emotions towards him.
You know, just neutral on it?
Yeah.
Have you heard that?
This is, I have to say, guys, as I make fun of people with it, but it's true. If you think about Trump all day, whether you're a man or a woman, you are in love with him. You may be a gay man, which is fine. Just, it'd be better to come out. Or you may be attracted to him as a woman. And this young man here might be the straightest man in America. Pete Hegseth, look out. We have a new candidate for the super straight army in America. He doesn't think about Trump at all. This man is vibing. And you shouldn't be thinking about this, especially at the club. Imagine interviewing someone at the club about politics. Stop scaring the hoes. Perfect response. Really appreciate it. This is how you shut it down. Why do you have to have an opinion on everything? You don't. You get to go vibe. All right. Let's move on. We have here, this is President Trump. Dude, President Trump, I had a segment on it, but I think it's a little too racy for YouTube. He had the oddest press conference with Mark Levin, where he was saying that he was the first Jewish president and that he feels for the Israeli lobby because they're not doing too well. And I was, dude, Trump, this is a, can I get some of that love? Can we get some of that love too? You know, Hispanics, maybe the Americans too. This is a lot of love, you know? And here he said this about a Harmeet Dillon.
Harmeet Dillon is here. And she sues the ass off of anybody that is anti-Semitic. She's doing a lot of them right now. Harvard wished they never heard her name, right? They're going to pay a lot of money, right, Harmeet? They're going to pay a lot of money.
What I appreciate about it is that if we now know, and this is useful for anyone, that anything that can be considered anti-Semitic will get you sued. But then we have European speech codes at this point, and it's better to know than not know, right? It's just wild to me that you would say this publicly. Because, we Americans fought a lot to, especially, what's odd is a lot of Jewish Americans fought for the right to free speech. Lenny Bruce, famously. George Carlin's not Jewish, he's Irish, but, he was an American too. They fought for free speech. And now we have the president saying you'll get sued for saying anything anti-Semitic. All right. I think it's a little much, Mr. President. Let's watch here. We were going to watch his speech, but it's so damn boring. Let's see how President Trump started his speech last night, which was very underwhelming.
Good evening, America. 11 months ago, I inherited a mess, and I'm fixing it. When I took office, inflation was the worst in 48 years, and some would say in the history of our country.
It's 90% bullshit, but it's entertaining.
Brother, I've told you guys, I went to some of the Trump rallies this last election cycle because I wanted to see him, and I remember I was at the one in, what part of Miami is this? This is, crap, man. It's Sweetwater, in Sweetwater at the fairgrounds. And I had a buddy who worked for JD Vance for a bit. He's recently left, who got some cool tickets, and we were able to stand behind him on stage. And it was an hour and a half of Trump saying this same stuff. Oh, the country's a mess. I can fix it. I'm the only one that can fix it. I'm inheriting a whole mess. Brother, what are we doing? What are we doing here? What are we doing? Mr. Trump, I don't care. I want to know what's going on now. I don't want to know about what you inherited. This is very, very patronizing. I don't understand how a lot of the Trump coalition is still together, which it's breaking, thankfully. But how can you be this happy with your president giving the same rigmarole that he's been giving for 10 years at this point? I get it. Joe Biden, I wasn't a fan. But what are we doing here? Let's continue. We got here our other Hispanic video.
Are you ready?
Venezuelan.
Jeez, man. Twitter is killing me. So yesterday we had some anti-Hispanic hate that we showed in Clearwater. Let's watch this video here to see how this Hispanic and American relations are getting a little heated. Let's see.
You Venezuelan piece of shit.
How you doing?
Go
I have a
fuck
customer
Venus
here
piece of shit.
that's
Venus
cursing out
Williams, you piece of shit.
and saying racial slurs to someone else.
What do you guys? What do you do? I don't know.
I'm a manager. I'm the AG.
I don't want to escalate the situation.
Yeah. No. You're good. Listen. No, you're being victimized right now. So yeah.
We sit here and wait.
I guess so. Yo.
Hate kind of one.
He posted too. Like,
Right, look, you could be that.
wait, can I look up next to him? Where's that crazy?
I told y'all. So y'all didn't hear the
I
first
didn't
time?
hear that.
Not even Jackson, I don't face no piece of shit.
You like Michael Jackson right behind
Wait, Michael
Your
Jackson.
mother's a piece of shit.
Wait, what?
Jackson.
What's she got to
Wait,
do with this?
Janet Jackson piece of shit.
Janet Jackson.
Like, what's up with Jamie?
Wait, me?
What are your thoughts on Whitney?
Stop.
Call it black,
Stop.
you piece of shit.
Have a great day.
Black don't matter, you
Thank
piece
you.
of shit.
Thank you. Have a great
Yeah,
day.
go to the toilet, you piece of shit.
Thank you.
To the White House. To the fucking Oval House.
Wait, I call him a Whitney, though.
Okay, wait. Okay, but Janet Jackson?
All right, so for context, this racist man is yelling derogatory things in broken English to a group of black people in line in front of him at Walmart. He calls them fucking Venezuelans, penis Williams, shits, toilets, Janet Jackson, and Michael Jackson. Tell says blacks don't matter and go to the White House. Why am I catching a stray here? What? Who knew this? It was one struggle, the Venezuelans and black Americans. What? Does that mean I'm going to get called the N-word?
Say the N-word, go on.
Because if it's interchangeable now, Venezuelan and black, then what are we doing? I can't even tell where this guy is from. But to go, is Venezuelan an insult now instead of a nationality? What? Folks, what did my people do? What did we Venezuelans do to deserve this? It was the train of Aragua. It wasn't all of Venezuela. But I support my black brothers and sisters here. No one should be called a Venezuelan when they're not, or Penis Williams, or Janet Jackson, or Michael Jackson. But all right, I guess if black people are Venezuelan now, you know, black Americans are Venezuelans. That's a slur. That's a new slur. Use that on some. I'll start using. I'm Venezuelan. I'm going to start calling people Venezuelan as a slur. Great stuff. The country's not doing well, man. People are going nuts. Let's watch. This was fascinating here. So here, this is an AI video that came out. And who knows how true this is, but it is reported by a somewhat official site. It's a Turkish site. This came out here. This is in French. And it says that there is a coup d'etat in France, meaning that Macron has been overthrown.
La chute de Macron. À l'heure actuelle, les informations non officielles évoquent bien un coup d'État en France, dirigé par un colonel dont l'identité n'a pas été révélée, et la possible chute du président Emmanuel Macron. Mais les autorités n'ont publié aucun communiqué clair. Nous continuerons à vous informer dès que nous aurons...
So, what happened? A viral AI-generated video falsely claiming that French President Macron has been overthrown was convincing enough to prompt an African head of state to contact him directly for clarification. The fake breaking news clip showing staged scenes of soldiers and police in Paris drew around 13 million views despite being reported. Meta initially refused to remove it, saying it did not breach its rules. Macron later warned that such misinformation, oh, what a party pooper, can disrupt international relations and expose governments' limited control over major text platforms. The source is France 24, an official source. I want to know which head of state in Africa called France. Was it Mohammed VI, in Morocco? It has to be a French guy, right? Who was it? It has to be the president of Algeria or something, or Tunisia. And this here is a wider point, which is that, dude, America, this is why America will always win. Because America it's so powerful. You can't resist it. ChatGPT made here, Meta made here, causing international incidents between Africa and France. I'm sure they were worried. They were worried about the CFA, the franc that's used in Africa that's tied to France. Like, they were like, oh my God, what's going on here? And it's these damn Americans that got it all done. Dude, if you thought the coups that America might have played a hand in the 20th century were rad, you're not ready for these 21st century ones, because the Schizo Watch is going international. Let's continue here. This today was really surprising. Let me make this big. This is Caroline Levitt. I have just been informed that the highly respected board of the Kennedy Center, some of the most successful people from all parts of the world, have just voted unanimously to rename the Kennedy Center to the Trump Kennedy Center because of the unbelievable work President Trump has done over the last year in saving the building, not only from the standpoint of its reconstruction, but also financially and its reputation. Congratulations to President Donald Trump, and likewise, congratulations to President Kennedy, because this will be a truly great team long into the future. What? The building will no doubt attain new levels of success and grandeur. And if you're making the trite North Korea comparison, don't worry, that's the quote tweet. This doesn't even hold, by the way. This does not hold. A member of the Kennedy family came out and explained that this is like an executive order. It can be reversed, and it will be reversed, rest assured. But I'm so curious here, because is this like a subtle nod to Q? Congratulations to President Kennedy, because this will be a truly great team long into the future. Remember when John F. K. Jr. was supposed to come back? Is President Kennedy still alive? Is our first Catholic president still alive? What? This is the real JFK files were released by Caroline Levitt. Is he buried next to Walt Disney under the Pirates of the Caribbean ride? What? What are we doing here, folks? And let's see what the comparison is, obviously, because this is getting to North Korea levels.
Respected board of the Kennedy Center, some of the most successful people from all parts of the world have just voted unanimously to
I have just been informed that the highly respected board of the Kennedy Center, some of the most successful people from all parts of the world, have just...
Buddy, if you didn't know this was President Donald Un, or Donald Mobutu as I prefer, rest assured we are getting here. Let's get through this here. Here we have Scott Bessent. We'll save this for tomorrow. Here we have, this is great. This happened in my own backyard. Read this for you here. Woman arrested for repeatedly punching a Miami Planet Fitness employee in the face after she was allegedly told to lower her voice. Now look, I've been in a couple Planet Fitnesses. I understand this woman's rage, especially in Miami, because they're actually full, because half the city's broke. So people actually use these gyms, but there's no excuse for going full Antifa on Richard Spencer at the Planet Fitness. Especially, they're not making enough money.
Call 911. Call 911. Call 911.
So this is near the beach. You can see outside. This is supposed to be a nicer area. And here you can see open 24 hours in Spanish because it's a bilingual city, despite what others may object. What did they do to make her so angry? That's my question. Why was she so angry? Did they ask her to lower her voice because she was in there saying, you know, maybe Planet Fitness should stop giving out free pizza on Fridays because it doesn't help people lose weight? You know? But I didn't expect this to happen in Miami, of all places. You know, we're not an angry city. And this young lady coming in here fighting at the Planet Fitness. I get it. I'm not a Planet Fitness fan either, you know? I don't like their Smith machines, but come on. And let's get to our final bit of Schizo Watch. Here we have, I love this. I love this so much. Remember back in the woke era, the woke mind virus, as Elon Musk called it. Remember how it was back in the day? I'm old enough to remember. I'm old enough to remember Matt Walsh having a crisis because what is a woman couldn't be answered, okay? He made a documentary. That's how mad he went. I remember that people were angry at scholars, true Baudrillardian scholars, that said 2 + 2 may equal 5. Something that I'm not completely against that. Okay. But I remember conservatives were pissed. They were pissed about this. Now, what is going on now? It seems like the woke may have won because woke math, 2 + 2 = 5, is back. Let's watch Howard Lutnick, the man behind Donald Mobutu, explain to us how drug prices can be pushed down not 50%, not 75%, not 100%, but 600%. Let us hear our new math. I am very curious as to how Mr. Lutnick is going to explain this.
Tonight, because some of them were just mathematically impossible. Listen to what he said about bringing down the price of prescription drugs. Listen here.
I negotiated directly with the drug companies and foreign nations, which were taking advantage of our country for many decades, to slash prices on drugs and pharmaceuticals by as much as 400, 500, and even 600%.
Well, if you cut something by 100%, the cost goes down to zero. If you cut it by 4, 5, or 600%, the drug companies are actually paying you to take their product. So it raises the question, how much of last night's speech was hyperbole and how much was fact?
No, what he's saying is you bring it, if a drug was $100 and you bring the drug down to $13, right? If you're looking at it from $13, it's down 7 times. It's down.
Oh, Mr. Lutnick, I need your dissertation. This is Einsteinian level magic. What? We have reversed. Donald Trump has reversed the basic principles of mathematics. Who said that Donald Mobutu couldn't accomplish anything? This is the new math. You cannot get sued for this now. If you're running a company, you might as well say this. We have lowered our prices by 1,000%, yet we are more profitable because we have new math. I guess they just didn't like 2 + 2 = 5. What they wanted was this.
Well, but it's 700% higher price before. It's down 700% now, right? So a $13 would have to go up 700% to get back to the old one. So it all depends on when you look at it. You could say it's down 87%, or you could say it would have to go up 700% to be the same one. So it just depends on what you look at it. But basically what he's saying, we all know what he's saying is we are hammering the price of drugs down. That's what's happening, and he's announcing it all the time. He's got more announcements even between now and the end of the year. So,
thank you, Howard Lutnick, for treating me like I'm stupid.
Because I'm fucking stupid.
I am stupid. I'm sorry. I did not pass mathematics at school. I did not take percentages. Thank you, Donald Trump, for redefining percentage. Dude, what? This is crazy. Donald Trump, the mathematician. Who knew he had it in him? Who knew he had it in him? All right. Before we move on from Schizo Watch, because I think this still qualifies, there is still fallout from this Fuentes Piers interview. If you recall, Nick Fuentes, they brought on this member of the House of Lords. Piers undersold it. Danny Finkelstein is not just a journalist. He is a member of the House of Lords, okay? You don't know what that is, look it up. It's like the English Senate, but you have to be of a certain pedigree to get it, okay? And he's been doing the rounds because he's making money off this too. This was a great plug for Danny. I thought that Piers was kind of clowning him, but no. And the Groypers, dude, these guys, I just learned about them this year. They're really something. Like these guys, the memery, it's incredible memery. Let's see what Danny Finkelstein is saying, because if you recall, he was crying on the interview because sadly he lost family in the Holocaust as well as under Stalin. I'm not making light of that. That's very sad. Let's see what he has to say about this interview.
Nick Fuentes has more than 1 million followers on X. His YouTubes are hugely popular, as he kind of often actually attacks his own supporters for being morons. In the background, you can hear someone going $50. Right, they're paying him. There was an excerpt in which he talked about me mum dying in the Holly in this video, and you can hear someone in the background go $20. Right, somebody's paying him for saying that. He's making a lot of money out of it. It's quite successful. It won't just go away if Piers Morgan doesn't challenge it. He'd already been on Tucker Carlson. He'd been on New.
Did you notice? Dude, I don't know if Danny's doing this on purpose, because Danny strikes me as a heel. Like, he is a heel in the same sense as Piers, as Netanyahu, like guys that love the hate. He literally said the meme that they were making fun of him for. Okay? It's not funny to make light of the Holocaust. No, that would be wrong. People make jokes about everything. But what I'm saying is, like, it's not sensitive to do that, right? But he literally said what they're saying to make fun of him. And of course, the Groypers, dude, these guys clipped it. And they, dude, I can't believe the abilities of these fellows. Look at this.
And there were hundreds and hundreds of me mum died in the Holly, right? Which is something that Fuentes had said.
Why would, and it's clipped. Okay. And now what? Now they're making AI music of Mr. Finkelstein's poor mother who died in the Holocaust.
Please buy my book. Please. Oi, that's not very funny, mate. Oi, that's not very funny, mate. Oi, that's not very funny, mate. Oi, babe. Oi, babe. In the Holly, big dad got killed by Stalin. Big mom died in the Holly, big dad got killed by Stalin.
Bro, how are these guys able to do this stuff? They made a Justin Bieber cover as well. It's unbelievable to me.
Sorry, not sorry. Ooh, yeah. And now she's gone, yeah. And now she's gone. And now she's gone, oh.
That's enough. That's enough. I'm sure Danny loves this, man, because this stuff it's good for the brand. Like, everyone is making money off of this, okay? This Nick Fuentes cow is being milked for everything they can. Piers did 2 shows about it. Danny's doing interviews about it. In a lot of ways, the real winners is everyone. No one really lost. Everyone's doing well. So, all right. Groypers, yeah, you impress me. I don't know how you have this ability. Let's check in really quick before we move to Venezuela on our one of our wizards here, Zoran Mamdani. Let's play his intro.
Are you a communist?
No, I am not. I don't think that we should have billionaires. No, I call myself a democratic socialist. No, I have many critiques of capitalism. There must be a better distribution of wealth for all of God's children in this country. What I'm focused on is making the city affordable for everyone, not to win an ideological argument.
All right, what is Zoran up to? Last we checked in on him, he was talking to a young disabled child, which was sweet, but I want to see schematics. I want to see schematics of how we're going to get the free buses, get the free trains. I'm excited for this, dude. I want to visit New York under Zoran. I want to see if he can do stuff, okay? And he did an interview with Trevor Noah. This is Zoran, buddy. You can't be the new Trump. I don't want you campaigning into infinity. Let's see what he had to say.
It feels like New York has, like many cities in the world, fallen into the trap of fixing what needs to be fixed for the wealthy and then sort of ignoring or pushing aside the problems that affect the poor.
I mean, I think about when you fly.
Yeah.
We have made it such a difficult experience to go through TSA that there's now a financial incentive to sign up for a separate program that can move you through it quicker.
Yeah.
I mean, we have monetized the dysfunction of flying.
Do you think that's by design, though?
I'm going to leave that to you and Dave, man.
Yeah, convenience is up for sale. Absolutely.
I mean,
convenience has been up for sale for the longest time.
But it's absurd to me that you should have to pay for the experience that you should already be getting. You're already paid.
I absolutely love this point. I've made this point autistically for years at TSA. I go, why do I have to pay extra to get something that should work properly, right? I'm already paying it in taxes. I'm already stepping into the grope machine, to be groped by a TSA member or whatever, right? Why do I have to pay and do another humiliation ritual and have to have my retina scanned in order to get the convenience that the government can afford me if they ran it right? However, Zoran, you're not in charge of TSA because it's federal. You can't be president because it's federal. You are not born here. Zoran, what are we talking about, man? I want to see you do some cool shit. Can we do the cool shit already? I know he's not in power, but he could be putting out autistic blueprints. I like the guy. I find him interesting. But I had everything says, what's the context? The context is this interview with Trevor Noah he did. Instead of, really hyping people up for the mayorship, saying this is how we're going to do this and that, we're talking about TSA. Buddy, come on. I don't want to be taken for a ride here. All right, Zoran, I appreciate you, but we got to get to Venezuela, which is the hot topic. So if you're not aware, Venezuela, we might be in a war with them sometime soon. Who actually knows, okay? There's a blockade around the country. President Trump did not mention it in his speech last night. Everyone expected that, but expect the unexpected with President Trump. Tucker Carlson kind of implied that President Trump was going to talk about Venezuela in this speech to lead us into some sort of George Bush the father, 20th of December invasion like was done during Operation Just Cause in Panama. When was Operation Urgent Fury in Grenada underway? Let me look that up real quick. When was Operation... That's a good bellwether, too. Operation Urgent Fury. That was when they took down the government, the socialist government of Grenada. That was in October. Okay, we're past that deadline. So, firstly, I'll show this here. This is Tucker Carlson explaining why he was wrong. I'm glad he fessed up to it. Let's see.
Well, apparently we're not going to war with Venezuela. My sources were wrong. I just wanted to share how it is that I got the information, if you allow me. Last night I had a dream. President Maduro came to me in the dream and he said, Tucker, El Presidente Trump is declaring a war on Venezuela. I need your help, Tucker. The dream was so real that I had to check if it was true or not. So I called Candace Owens. She said that all dreams are totally credible sources of information. That's where she gets all her information from. So now I know we're definitely going to war with Venezuela. I had to check with a government source one last time before I leaked this totally credible information. So I called Marjorie Taylor Greene, and she said, Tucker, you go ahead and leak that information. I also had a dream about it. So that's basically what happened.
All right. All right. Look, it wasn't his fault. It was his dream. President Maduro came to him in a dream. President Maduro has not come to me in my dreams yet, okay? You know, President Maduro says that Chavez visits him in the form of a bird. Been saying that for years. But, all right, it's good to know that Tucker fessed up to it. You know, sometimes things that come in dreams are not real. Everything says, the truth is Zoran doesn't have the money for all of it and has the final say and does not have the final say for a lot of things he's advocating for. It's unfortunate, man, because I want to see a coup plan. You know, I want to see a coup of how we're going to take over Albany too and win, you know, but Trevor Noah interviews. But all right, Tucker here giving us he's fessing up to it. Let's continue. We have here, since he's our new wizard on this show, dude. Like this guy, he beat Piers Morgan at a debate. Is also complaining. I thought that Nick Fuentes fans, by the way, I thought they were against war and neocon stuff. But it seems like they kind of advocate war with Venezuela specifically now. And Mr. Fuentes was disappointed about this Venezuela announcement as well.
Why? Just why? Why are we subjected to more garbage? President Trump today spoke at 8 o'clock, prime time, from the White House. Everybody was anticipating a declaration of war with Venezuela. Clearly, that was leaked intentionally as misdirection. And we all tuned in and we watched the speech, and there was no declaration of war. There is no war. Instead, we got more crap, more trash. 20 minutes of nonsense, poorly delivered, rambling, stuttering. He can't even read. And we'll talk about it tonight. I'm sure you watched it. Instead of getting a declaration of war against Venezuela, we got 20 minutes of self-promotion. Defensive speech talking about how Trump really is doing a great job and the economy's not so bad. And things are going to get better eventually. I don't even think there was actually an announcement other than that the military is getting a Christmas bonus. Okay. And that was really about it. So we'll talk tonight all about this address. I thought it was a total flop, such a joke, just like everything else in this administration. I don't know how anybody defends it. We'll talk about that. We're also going to talk tonight about Dan Bongino.
All right. And you know what's funny? Is my Venezuelan mother, who hates Maduro, had this same exact reaction, dude. She was pissed. She was like, why is he talking all this bullshit? I want him to invade Venezuela, you know? So it seems like Mr. Fuentes wants war with Venezuela. My mom wants war with Venezuela. You know, neoliberals, groypers, Tucker Carlsonites, all expect or want war with Venezuela, but it doesn't seem like it's happening. What's going on over there? Firstly, let's get to this. Stephen Miller addressed this claim that President Trump made finally. Remember that I told you President Trump says Venezuela stole oil and land from the United States? And I told you it made no sense. Here's Stephen Miller, who's very important in the administration, saying, American sweat, ingenuity, and toil created the oil industry in Venezuela. Its tyrannical expropriation was the largest recorded theft of American wealth and property. These pillaged assets were then used to fund terrorism and flood our streets with killers, mercenaries, and drugs. Now, as a connoisseur, Dick Cheney would have loved this, of course, of Venezuelan history. Excuse me. This is not true. This is verifiably false. The Venezuelan oil industry was built by a dictator called Velasco Gomez in Venezuela. He did it when it was discovered, and sure, he had American help, but he was a very competent manager of the country. During the Great Depression, Venezuela was one of the few countries that maintained hard money, okay? It was expropriated, meaning nationalized with compensation, in the democratic period by Carlos Andrés Pérez, who was a two-time president of Venezuela that was so friendly with the American government, he died in the hospital where I was born here in Miami, okay? Everyone was compensated. I don't know what you're talking about, Stephen Miller. You're just making stuff. And this is easily disprovable. This is not like crazy shit. And here we see, even here, the community notes, American sweat did not build Venezuelan oil infrastructure. It was built by Venezuelan workers' hands on Venezuelan land. American investors were fairly compensated for nationalization in the 70s. USA's own data proves Colombia alone grows all of the cocaine destined for the USA. And that's an aside. But yes, this is not true. This is just not true, man. It's not true. I don't know why you would lie this blatantly if you're not going to declare war. If you're going to declare war, go ahead. Lie your head off. Dick Cheney loved it, But what is it? This is crap. This is crap. And here we have someone with the receipts showing here, no, Stephen, there is no U.S. ownership over Venezuela's oil industry. The industry was nationalized in democracy. Remind you that Venezuela was an ally of the United States in the democratic period by Carlos Andrés Pérez in 1976. The legal conflicts caused by Chavez expropriations are another matter. And here we have a video of Cap, as he's known colloquially in Venezuela.
En el primer día del año de 1976, a celebrar la ceremonia con la cual, en nombre del pueblo, consagramos el gran día histórico en que Venezuela asume el pleno control de su gran riqueza petrolera.
That's an announcement saying that this is the day we are celebrating where Venezuela finally retakes control of its ground wealth. Okay, so this is all bullshit. I know this from, my grandfather was a Stalinist, okay? He was in the Venezuelan Communist Party. He hated all of these people. He hated every single Democrat in Venezuela. He hated all of them. Whether they were the Christian Democratic Party or the Liberal Party, he hated them, okay? So I know this stuff from my life, okay? My grandpa wanted to coup the government and install Stalinism. He didn't get that. And actually, the Democrats tried to kill him even harder than our fascists. Some Americans would say that. But our right-wing dictator, Marcos Pérez Jiménez. Okay? So I know this stuff. All right? What continues to go on? Here we have Maduro doing a display here, a military display. Take this with a grain of salt. Speaking as someone who knows people that are in the Venezuelan military, this is a Potemkin village, in my opinion. Most of these guys would not put up a fight.
Luego de 20 días continuos de anuncios, amenazas, guerra psicológica, luego de 20 días de asedio contra la nación venezolana, hoy estamos más fuertes que ayer. Hoy estamos más preparados para defender la paz, la soberanía y la integridad territorial que ayer.
Sorry, fellas. There we go. Let's watch it again.
Luego de 20 días continuos de anuncios, amenazas, guerra psicológica, luego de 20 días de asedio contra la nación venezolana, hoy estamos más fuertes que ayer. Hoy estamos más preparados para defender la paz, la soberanía y la integridad territorial que ayer.
You know what's funny? Is these uniforms that he's wearing here. My mom says, because she was in the Navy in Venezuela, that it all went to shit when Chavez swapped the American uniforms for the Chinese uniforms. These are Chinese, they're not American. Venezuela has F-16s because America used to be a huge trade partner. So here we have Maduro preparing the troops. Interesting stuff. All right, let's see what else is going on here. He has called for, I think I have to translate this one here. Let's watch.
Y la mayor garantía que tenemos de paz, estabilidad, respeto en el mundo.
The greatest guarantee that we have for peace and stability in the world
Es la unión.
is
Por eso mi
union.
llamado hoy a 200 años de la aprobación de la ley fundamental fundadora de Colombia.
And this is why today, on the 200th anniversary of the founding of Gran Colombia,
Grande a 206 años de haberse fundado
206 years later,
esta gran idea, esta gran nación que se declaró república en armas y le dio la libertad completa a Sudamérica.
this great republic that went to arms and liberated this whole continent,
Le hago mi llamado, ratificado con amor profundo de gran colombiano que me siento,
I make a call full of Gran Colombian pride
al pueblo de a pie de Colombia,
to the plebeian people of Colombia,
a sus movimientos sociales,
of its social movements,
a sus fuerzas políticas,
of its political forces,
a los militares de Colombia que conozco muy bien.
to the Colombian military men that I know very well.
Los llamo a la unión perfecta
I call them to join in a perfect union
con Venezuela para que nadie ose tocar la soberanía de nuestro país.
to help Venezuela make sure no one touches the sovereign land of Venezuela. So Venezuela's recruiting allies now. They're recruiting Petro in Colombia to come. If Petro does this, he's a dead man. This is insane. This is literally crazy. This is crazy. He can't do this. Petro's a wild card, but he can't do this. I had everything says, you think Maduro's going to start packing his stuff? Dude, I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think yet. I think he still has time because here again, we have another recruitment of socialist fighters so you can see what's going on down there.
Entrenado bajo el método táctico de resistencia revolucionaria en perfecta fusión popular militar policial. Sepa usted, mi mayor general.
And here you can see that we have the AK-103s. I believe that's what these are. These are the Russian guns that were last shipped to Venezuela, I think 5 years ago. As you can see, the Venezuelan military upper brass seems to be a little bit overweight. All right. So they're getting ready. Now, however, what we had today was this. We had, what did Marx say? First, history repeats itself as tragedy, then as farce. I think we broke right through tragedy and we're in farce territory. What did Diosdado Cabello, the number 2 of Venezuela, come out with today? He came out with a machete. Just like Noriega in the last century, who came out with a sword, here is the second in command with a machete taunting the United States. We have downgraded from a sword to a machete.
¿Saben qué es esto? Ah, pero no es cualquier machete, no. Ah, no, este hecho está hecho con acero fundido.
This is no ordinary machete. It is made with polished iron.
No. Esto no es de utilería, ¿oyeron?
Sorry, smelt iron.
Machete del guerrillero.
This is the gorilla man's machete.
Se va aquí, ¿ves? Aquí va, ¿ves?
And I'll wear it here.
Me lo dieron mis hermanos de Tupamaro.
The Brothers of the Tupamaros, which is a terrorist group in Uruguay historically, but it's a political party in Venezuela, gave it to him. Brother. Saber rattling? No, we do a little machete rattling. We do some machete rattling. And finally, let's make this big, because President Trump had some big news about these potential strikes on Venezuela. What did he have to say about how they would be done? Let's see.
In Venezuela. Mr. President, will you be seeking any authorization from Congress for any land attacks on cartels in Venezuela?
For anyone?
For any land attacks on drug cartels in Venezuela?
I wouldn't mind telling them, but it's not a big deal. I don't have to tell them. It's been proven. But I wouldn't mind at all. I just hope they wouldn't leak it. You know, people leak it. They are politicians and they leak like a sieve. But I'd have no problem doing that.
On that, Mr. President.
Okay, so Congress. Where's Barbara Lee? I think she's the mayor of Oakland now. Where is she? The only one who voted against the use authorization of military force back in the 2000s. Where is she? I don't have to tell them. That's been proven. All right. So things are heating up. All right. We had another video here about this, but we'll save it because we want to move on for time, because we want to get to denaturalization. Okay. We have to get to our other story. Okay, our other story is, I think I may have misjudged Miss Erika Kirk. I never said I was perfect. I never said I was the perfect Baudrillardian. Okay? I think that the reality here is, man, a lot of people, including myself, were like, how could this evil woman exploit her husband's memory for money? Because, you know, in Baudrillard, violence is real. If you fall and hit yourself, that is real. Pain is real. Death is a little fake, but it still feels real. And this is my apology form. I got sucked into the reel. I got hustled by the circus. I thought the spectacle was real. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Jean. I didn't mean to. Because what I've discovered here today is that I think that Erika Kirk and Candace Owens are two pro wrestlers. I think that they are just wrestling each other, and they are both benefiting off of it. I thought Erika Kirk was just an exploiter. But what I realized is even Candace is in on it. We are here. This is Ric Flair versus Randy Savage. This is the greatest wrestling match ever put together. And I know it's the greatest because I got suckered into it. You remember me? I was saying the evil woman. The evil woman. Dude, I gave her a moniker. That's what I gave her. This is not an evil woman. This is a wrestler. So let's catch up with what's going on. As we saw yesterday on Piers Morgan. Let me make this big so you can see. This is Erika Kirk, had a very productive conversation with real Candace Owens. More to come from both of us. Looking forward to AmFest this weekend. Time to get back to work. Here we have, this is a pretty good meme. I hadn't seen this one when I pulled it up. Look at this here. Look at that. Ice on her wrist. Look at that. The perp. The grills. All right, let's continue. What happened today? Well, today was AmFest, okay? And Erika Kirk at AmFest said this.
25 countries represented plus Puerto Rico, but I have the list here. Don't worry, guys. Egypt is not on the list. Don't worry about that. But, oh, how funny. I say Egypt and my iPad turns on. That's fun.
You gave away the game, Erika. Erika, you can't be this nice. This is what broke the kayfabe. This is what made me stop siding with anyone. Erika, you were too nice to the heel. You are the face. You are supposed to hate the heel. And here she is in jest talking about these Egyptian plane conspiracies. Baby, you broke it. You broke it. And to continue this, what did Candace Owens do on her podcast today, given that she was told that she should stop conspirizing, that she should stop. Did Candace stop for a second? Does WWE shut down? Absolutely not. We have to keep the tension going. And she had on, I'll just play it for you.
With those eyes. That was that person. They were there. And yeah, the head of security there, he was one of the people walking out with the congressman. Now, how would I know that? I just have a gift for recognizing people. And yeah, maybe it's not him. Maybe he has doppelganger, but somebody with the same mannerisms, the same crick in his neck, face, the waxy look on his face, hand gestures, shoulder shrug, gait, approximate height, haircut. Definitely.
You can't be asking questions. Candace, immediately after the Piers Morgan interviewing, let's read it here. She had a man on who claims to be a former U.S. Army medic who is clearly troubled and who said he was 95% sure that Erika Kirk, Brian Harpel, Charlie Kirk's head of security, and Nevada Congressman Mark Amadei met at Fort Huachuca in Arizona the day before Charlie Kirk was assassinated. The implication being that they are part of a vast conspiracy to assassinate Charlie Kirk. Candace, you won't even stop for a second. She's a better wrestler. She's better at it. Thank you, Robert. I appreciate the super chat, sir. Let me read it here. Good evening, my brother from a different mother. Good evening, my brother from a different mother. Thank you, sir. I appreciate the super chat. You know, Robert, I'm thinking now, Nevada is pronounced differently by people in Nevada, right? There's a different pronunciation. It's not Nevada, or is it Nevada? There's one or two. I've heard that before, that Nevadans have a like a code to see who's really from there. So, thank you, Robert. I appreciate it. Here we have Candace Owens continuing the kayfabe, continuing the big fight with Erika. We're not stopping till we get to the bottom of this. And at AmFest, what did Erika continue to say? Let's see this here.
For both 2026 and 2028, we're investing in states and not just in races. So what I mean by that is we are building the red wall, Arizona, Nevada, New Hampshire. That's going to be very important to us. We're going to ensure that President Trump has Congress for all 4 years. We are going to get my husband's friend, J.D. Vance, elected for 48 in the most resounding way possible. For both 2020.
If you didn't know it was pro wrestling before this, then you're outside of your, then you fell for the real, like I did. You fell for it. This is all a grift. It's all a grift, and it's a giant wrestling match. And neither of these two people hate each other. Neither of them. That's the only conclusion you can draw. If Erika Kirk is using her platform right now in order to recruit people to vote for J.D. Vance in 2028, and she has forgiven Candace Owens, and she's not really concerned with Charlie's killer anymore, then what are we to say? I'm not being even more schizo and telling you the whole thing was orchestrated to get J.D. Vance elected. What I am saying, though, is that we can be rest assured the conflict here is completely fake. It's all made up. It's made up in order to sell things. To sell things. Let me see the chat here because I asked a question. Mystery Lou says it's not, so it's Nevada. All right. Everything says modern day Julius Caesar. Robert says, originally I was born in San Diego, California. Oh, that's cool. San Diego's where all the military are, right, Robert? Robert says, do you think Erika is going to make a great first lady? There's no way this is going to happen, Robert. I think they're going to run Rubio at this point. I don't think so. And Mr. Elu concurs, Erika Kirk is a grifter for elections and Candace Owens is a grifter for herself. So then we can't take sides, man. We can't take sides. Let's watch this here. This is further on at AmFest here, inspiring the youth in order to continue the legacy of Charlie. Charlie, he didn't die. He still exists. We have Kirk Watch for any time we find good Charlie Kirk AI. Okay, he still exists. He's out here. He's in the ethereal. He's in a higher plane. Okay, and I don't just mean heaven. I mean he's literally living on through AI. And I think Erika's comfortable with that, and I think Candace is comfortable with that because they're both just using this in order to get stuff done.
Students, raise your hands. Out of those students, drop your hands. Put your hand up if you're in high school. Okay, all of you. I love it. I love my high schoolers. Charlie had a very special place in his heart for Club America. He's like, how could you not love Club America? All of you, again, going where you need to go. If your Club America's not set up or you want to set one up, step right into your admin's office. College students, raise your hands.
So this whole thing is promoting debate to young people. Imagine being like 14 in high school and you go, I want to set up a Club America chapter at my high school. If I were your principal, I would be, no, we're not allowing that. We're not. You're not going to be fighting about politics in high school. Go out there, not to be Piers Morgan, okay?
Say the N word, go on.
Go out there and get laid. Go out there and play some video games. We're not doing debate in the high school. But what's noticeable here is I have a reframe here. When I looked at her gaudy her gaudy clothing in the past, I was like, she's just lacking in taste. She's not. Is this not something that Stone Cold Steve Austin would wear, this glittery blazer with the big crucifix here iced out? This is not poor taste. This is the suspension of disbelief. This is the face coming in here with Christ on her side. She's in here. She's ready to take on Candace and these demonic Democrats in 2028. Admire the face. Admire the face. It's all pro wrestling, folks. It's all pro wrestling, folks. It's all pro wrestling, folks. Erika, you fooled me. I apologize. I got sucked into the reel. It was wrong. I will apologize for it. It was all fake all along, as I always say. Let's catch up with the chat and let's get to Dave Smith, who I haven't talked about before. I had everything says she gotta sing "We Are Charlie Kirk." Let's let that rip. Let's let that rip here real quick.
We are Charlie Kirk.
It's a fact. AI's taken over the world, and I don't think people are prepared for that. Grok can do that. I think AI is way more powerful than we give it credit for. ChatGPT can do that pretty well. Who can use AI the quickest and the best?
So yeah, this is. I hope she sings it at some point. It would be great. It would be great. Let me see what else is in the chat here. We have a smaller show tonight. I like this. It's more intimate. Mystery Lou says Erika Kirk is a grifter for election. Oh, we read that one. Absolutely. Spring says, is Erika going to enter a time machine and become the wife of James Tiberius? My God. Mystery Lou says Susie Wiles likes Rubio better. That article in Vanity Fair, man, that was Susie Wiles is wild. That's a wild lady. I think she likes Rubio better too, and I think Rubio is more palatable than Candace Owens. Rubio's got that swag. Rubio is a little bit swagged out. He's grown up since his water days. He's more of a swagged out, laid back kind of guy. So it'd be interesting. Why call it Club America when you can call it Club Patriot Pepper 2 Guns America Club? Why don't you call it Club Blonde, Big Titty, Beer Drinking, Bacon Eating, Americans #1 Patriot? Why not? Full Hat says, how come you guys can't see you're being distracted by all this BS? The real reasons are the economy, the border security, global jihad, and your worries about Candace Owens. Well, I think it does matter, Mr. Full Hat. I think it matters for elections. That's the only reason. Of course, we cover international policy. We just did a segment on Venezuela, sir. I'm following that story closely. All right, let's move on here to Dave Smith. For anyone that doesn't know, really quick, I'm going to enter my Douglas Murray arc, okay? Douglas Murray. This pro-Israel British chap who's gay. He's a great man, Douglas Murray. Douglas Murray took on Davey Smith on Joe Rogan a few months ago, okay? Douglas Murray came out there with that British swagger, that accent, and he told Dave Smith, you don't get to talk about Israel because you haven't been there. Pretty crazy, all right? And so Dave Smith is a libertarian, but don't hold that against him for now, okay? I had to suspend that, okay? He's a libertarian, okay? Now, the reason I'm not a Dave Smith fan is because he claims to be the most consistent man in America. Okay, that's cool. I can claim that too. I'm the most consistent man in America. Okay, I'm consistent. But he broke away from his libertarian past this last election cycle and endorsed Donald Trump. You haven't been there. And when he did this, I was like, whoa. Where are libertarians going now? I thought Donald Trump was evil. I thought he was a war criminal. I thought he was the worst guy ever, you know? But I guess we had to legalize comedy, right? We had to do that. And we have some buyer's remorse. Womp, womp, womp. Let's watch here what Dave Smith tweeted. Let's see. Despite my assumption that Trump's second term would be a disaster, even when supporting him, I'm blown away by how bad it's been. Trump has spent the last year humiliating his movement and squandering the greatest opportunity in modern American history for real change. Now, I'll give you my bias for the start. Okay? My bias is this. I'm not a Noam Chomsky fan. Why? Because Noam Chomsky openly supported the Khmer Rouge, which went on to kill 1 million people. I don't know why. I don't care. And he never apologized for it. I think he said he kind of regretted it, but he didn't. And yet Noam Chomsky is still giving political commentary. Noam Chomsky, you supported a group that killed 1 million people. Openly. I think that at that point, you take a big step back from the politics, maybe you get back in linguistics, and you enjoy yourself, right? Okay? You go to Epstein's Island. I know you were there. You know, that's how I feel about this type of thing. Whenever you make a mistake so catastrophic, you must recuse yourself. You must step out. You must step out. Okay? You must step back. And Dave Smith here is giving me the lady doth protest too much. Okay? You made a mistake. I get it. But if you made a mistake, I want a formal apology and I want a little bit of silent reflection. I want some meditation. Why don't you go smoke on it? Don't libertarians love to smoke weed? Go out there and smoke on it, you know? So let's see how this buyer's remorse has gone. This is here his endorsement of Donald Trump last year. Let's watch it.
So, listen, man, and I just want to preface this by saying this is not me walking back the things that I said on yesterday's episode. I still stand by everything I said there, but I think I might vote for Trump.
Wow. That's a bombshell of breaking news.
I'll tell you what it did. And it's funny because literally when we finished the show yesterday, it was like an hour after we were done recording or something like that. I was just literally just on Twitter and I saw Kamala Harris campaigning with Liz Cheney And I'll play you the clip in a second. And I was just so disgusted by it that I was just like, oh, f you. Like, God damn, do you just deserve to lose? So
why did she deserve to lose? Okay? All Kamala Harris wanted to do was bring us some joy. I didn't vote, okay? I didn't vote. Where is it? No. Here we go. We would have had a great time with Kamala Harris. Where is this, man? Where is this? Oh, I got it. I know how to find this. This is what we would have had the whole time. It would have been awesome. I think the apple's rotten right to the core from all the things we've done from all the apples coming before. I spent the apple down symmetrical lines. So what I find is kind of scary. Makes me just want to drive. Again. It would have been 4 years of this. It would have been awesome. It would have been, dude, I don't vote, okay? But it would have been great. It would have been great. Dave Smith, Liz Cheney took you off of Joy and Brat? I know that Charlie XCX is a gay artist, right? It's like for gay people, supposedly. The production is not, you cannot even eat. Dude, the production is great. This would have been the background of the past 4 years. It would have been awesome. I think the apple's rotten right to the core. But what happened? Oh, Liz Cheney. Dick Cheney would be so disappointed right now. What is going on? You voted for Donald Trump because you didn't want us to have joy? Unforgivable. I hate everything says nothing wrong with libertarians, Leo. They hate each other too. Yes, but I'm here. We're gonna shit on this dude today. We're gonna shit on him. Here he is, because since then, as I showed you in the tweet, this has culminated because he has made several statements against Donald Trump. Let's see here, talking about the Epstein files with Megyn Kelly, our favorite resident trans supporting white nationalist.
Donald Trump was always a seedy guy. And like, you know, he's cheating on his pregnant wife with porn stars, and he's on record. Well, there's already a tape of him out there.
Allegedly, reportedly.
Yeah, sure. Fine. Sorry, you're the lawyer. You have to say, you're the reporter and the lawyer. I'm a comedian. I get to just talk. But like, you know, at the same time, there's a videotape of him talking about how Jeffrey Epstein loves the women and he loves them real.
Hang on. Dave Smith, I have a question. Didn't we know this back in 2019, 2018? Wasn't Stormy Daniels on the news every other day? Wasn't Stormy Daniels on? So you admit that you voted for Donald Trump despite this pearl-clutching morality that's coming out now because of the Epstein files? You knew that Donald Trump was a sleazy guy cheating on his pregnant wife with a pornographic actress. And you still voted for it. What? Let's continue. What else has Dave Smith been saying here? Here he is telling, I hate Tim Pool. Tim Pool, if he regrets voting for Trump. Let's see this.
Did you vote for Trump?
I did.
Do you regret it?
You know, a lot of people made a big deal, but I did say that I regretted it the other day. You know, look, voting to me, I have a different like kind of theory of voting than most people do. I think it's kind of like, look, either Kamala Harris or Donald Trump was going to be president. And yeah. I do, you know, you'll have to wait till the end of the 4 years. And if this is the end of this war, then overall right now, I'd probably say, yeah, we're still better off that Trump's in there than if Kamala.
Oh, I see. It's because he has a different theory of voting. I would like to know what this theory is that lets you vote for someone who's so immoral, who's so wrong. But you can complain about him 9 months in. Okay, let's continue. What have we got here? We got him here apologizing. I appreciate the apology. I appreciate it.
It was in 2007 that the Pentagon told George W. Bush that we cannot go to war with Iran because we do not have escalation dominance against them, essentially meaning that they can hit all of our bases and embassies in the region, and we are very vulnerable to them. And we've already seen demonstrated since the Israeli attack that the Iranian, the missiles that they sent last year toward Israel, as many of us guessed, that wasn't really their best. They were intentionally making an attack that wouldn't really hurt anybody, that wouldn't really lead to a war, which Iran has done over and over again. But now we've pushed them to the point where they probably don't feel that they have the option not to respond. And Donald Trump telling them to come back to the negotiating table now is a joke.
Yeah.
I mean, what a impotent leader to be sitting there talking about coming back to the negotiating table. It's like sitting after Pearl Harbor and telling FDR, now's the time to go negotiate with the Japanese.
Right.
Negotiations are over now. The time for negotiations was before this. And so, yeah, Donald Trump looks, and man, I supported him this last year. I apologize for doing so. It was a bad calculation. At the time, it seemed like the right one. But he should be impeached and removed for this one. Wow. And not on some like not on some ridiculous Nancy Pelosi. Of course the Congress will never do it because they're all a bunch of, corrupt hacks.
This is the one thing they support. This is like yeah.
Donald Trump should be impeached and removed for this. All of his supporters should turn on him. It's the absolute betrayal of everything that he ran and campaigned on and everything that he stood for. And I will say, despite the fact that, Donald Trump supporters have been labeled like a cult following, and that certainly is true for a percentage of his supporters, he is going to lose his coalition over this.
Before I hear what Trump supporters should do, what they should do, from Dave Smith, who has admitted he made a mistake, I would like some reflection. I would like, take a week with Sam Harris. Go do some Molly with Sam Harris. Sit back in California and really think about what led you to make this mistake. Because it's not fair. It's not fair that you get to tell people what to do after you admitted you made a mistake. Okay? If I crash my car into a bridge, and then I go give people driving advice a month later because I say, oh, well, I've reflected on it, I would still think that's too soon. I think you have to wait at least a year. You have to really think about what led to this decision, what led to this issue. So Dave Smith, before we tell people what they should do, let's chill out. Let's chill. And here we have the evolution here that points out how this happened.
I would be very happy for to see Donald Trump impeached for the illegal, immoral, borderline war of genocide that he's been helping the Saudis conduct in Yemen. Even grading on a curve. He is a war criminal who deserves to be tried and buried under the prison, just with right alongside Barack Obama and George W. Bush and John McCain and all the rest of them. Let me just say this real quick. Donald Trump should be in prison for war crimes for what he did to the people of Yemen. How's that for taking on the right? You're just defending your Democratic president. Good. I actually stand on principle. Lockdowns and keeping Fauci on the job and Yemen and Israel and Iran, and there's just like the government spending, and there's just a lot of them that it's like I just kind of can't forgive him for, but I think I might vote for Trump. Yeah, Donald Trump looks, and man, I supported him this last year. I apologize for doing so. It was a bad calculation. At the time, it seemed like the right one, but he should be impeached and removed for this one.
I'm glad that people like Milk Bar TV kept receipts. Why are we even covering this? Because it seems a little gossipy. No, okay. This is the analysis. The first one is I don't like libertarianism. Okay, so I have a problem with Dave Smith inherently, but I'm sure he's a chill guy to get a beer with or something. I'm sure he'll talk your ear off about interesting stuff. What's important here is this: Donald Trump had the perfect wave to get elected last year. He had, I don't know what it was in retrospect, but it was this thing this ethereal thing that allowed everyone, Jews, Muslims, blacks, whites, Hispanics, libertarians, Democrats, Republicans, independents, everyone was able to drop their concerns, their morality even, to come in and vote for this fella. I'm not saying you should have voted for Kamala, although I would have liked to see some joy. I think the apple's rotten right to the core. But what I'm saying is this. I don't know how Trump did it, but he had something so special last year where he was able to bring everyone in. Who has the bigger fell for it again award here? Is it Dave Smith, or is it, I think Muslims might take the cake. Muslims that voted for Trump because they thought he was going to solve the issue in Israel. You gotta really think about that one. So Dave Smith is one of these guys that has to really reflect on this. But what's important is that this was not, as we were told, the future of America. This was a very loose coalition that was built around, I don't even know, why did everyone drop their morality, their way of thinking? I mean, Dave Smith has been a libertarian since Ron Paul, and he was able to put that all aside to vote for someone that he said should be impeached, was a war criminal, was a sex pest, was a cheater, a liar, a hustler. And now with that post-nut clarity of having Trump in office, he's like, I regret it. I shouldn't have done it. And I don't think he's the only one. And if his coalition, the libertarians, are feeling this, I'm sure other people are feeling it as well. We've seen other people that have turned on Trump on this show, okay? But this one here is not a super important marker because libertarians are what, 1% of the country? What percent of the country is autistic? Okay, it's like that, okay, of people that are libertarians. But what's important is that Dave Smith will not be voting for Trump again. And I don't think that, dude, I used to think that Trump would have the midterms in the bag. I don't think he has them in the bag anymore. If people are peeling off like this and this shameless about it, which you'd expect in this postmodern society. I mean, Dave Smith obviously is going to be shameless about it because why not? It doesn't even matter. You know, people will still be there listening. The most consistent man in America is now inconsistent. But if he peels off, as his followers peel off, I'm sure more people will. And the midterms might be an interesting thing to watch. They might not be as clear cut as we once thought. I just think it's really funny that Dave Smith dropped what about all that Rothbard, Dave Smith? What about all of that? What else do libertarians read? All that Mises, all that Tom Woods. What happened to all that when you went into the voting booth? He didn't even have to vote for him. I think he lives in New York. He wasn't going to win regardless. He didn't have to do this. I didn't vote. Hey, don't blame me. I didn't vote for anyone. But that is that. What a fascinating turn. What a fascinating turn. Let's catch up with the chat, and we have enough time to get to a little PBD watch. PBD. I hate everything says no wonder Rogan loves it. Yeah, Rogan switches opinions every other day too. But Rogan, at least, did he tell people to vote for Trump? Or did he just interview him? When you tell people to vote for Trump and then you're coming out a few months later and saying you should do this, you should do that. How about you should go on a meditation retreat with Sam Harris and Douglas Murray? You could all take some mushrooms together. Maybe even Joe Rogan could be there and really talk it out. See why you voted for him. Spring says Trump equals dumb, Kamala equals dumber, American voters equals the dumbest. Tracy says no basis for impeachment. I don't think he's going to get impeached. I agree. Mystery Lou says, that's an inter chat there. Tracy says, what did Trump do so wrong? I don't get it. Well, I think to his supporters, what he did wrong was start a war in Iran. This war in Venezuela. If you voted for Trump, I assume you didn't want new wars, but that's happening. So that's the main thing. But also the economy is not doing much better than under Biden. What did Trump deliver for his voters? I don't really see it. Robert says, if Kamala Harris had one, would we be fighting the Russians right now? I don't know. I don't know, Robert. Well, the counterfactual is always so hard to prove. But I will say, if Kamala Harris was elected, she promised us joy. Even if we were at war with the Russians, you'd be blasting some Charlie XCX as you took down Russian soldiers. I think if Kamala were in power, it's possible we would be in a direct war. No, it would still be indirect war with Russia with more advisors on the Ukrainian side. And it would probably be over a lot more swiftly, possibly. Maybe sue for peace from the Russian side. Efra says, China has taken steps to transform its economy in anticipation. Their economy is not too financialized like America. As the workforce shrinks, consumerism will not be viable. Yeah, Efra, I do follow the red chip stocks mostly of the Chinese market, which are Chinese state-owned companies that trade on the Hong Kong index. And those are all real companies. It's a really interesting watch to see that. Ironforge says, I like Rothbard. I like Rothbard too. Hayek is interesting too. It says, I hate everything. I like Hayek a lot because Hayek was able to differentiate between totalitarianism and authoritarianism, which most Americans can't do. Mr. Elu says, Tom Woods says, no wonder who you vote for. You get John McCain, according to Dave Smith. Oh, man. Spring says, Tom Woods was right. The swamp creatures turn every president to a neocon MIC funder. Might be a problem with the system. Maybe Dave Smith should have sat out this election. And Pajarito Lindo says, Trump announced that government-sponsored online university during his campaign. That's nowhere in sight. I was looking forward to that communist program. You know which one I was looking forward to, Pajarito Lindo? That this is the biggest reason that I hate Biden. He said he was going to cure cancer, and a lot of people laughed at that, and I didn't. I was like, it's about time. Maybe he's going to lock up the best scientists and say, if you don't solve cancer within the next 4 years, I will execute you. I thought we were going to get something really cool, but we didn't get anything. So it's crap. It's crap. I was really looking forward to that one. Let's get to denaturalization. And for denaturalization, we have to go for a fan favorite here.
Feel free to push back. I'm comfortable with it. And then there's the lions that live in the jungle who have to go get their own meat. I'll give you an idea. And you refuse to hunt. You email me, I won't respond. You DM me, I will not respond. Not on LinkedIn, not on Twitter. Dropping the N-word.
Look, I don't think that Trump is going to be able to denaturalize anyone. I think even if he does, it will be reversed in courts. I think we will stuck in court. Denaturalizing is something that I think only certain Nordic countries have been able to do effectively. Okay? This is a very, very un-American proposal, I would say. Just because America is a Jew-solist country, or at least it was until Trump. Meaning if you're born on the land, you are part of America. You can agree or disagree with that, but to understand why that's the case, if you're a new worlder like myself, that you have family from the new world, doesn't matter if it's Latin America or the United States or even Canada for that matter, you understand that Jus Solis was put in place in order for these countries to get a population in the colonial period. And it's carried over as a legacy thing. And you, a guy who was French and he was born in Chile, he has a Chilean passport. He hasn't been to Chile since he was born there. So that's why I call it un-American, okay? Because it does not fill the colonial project that the English established here or the Spanish established in Latin America. It's an interesting proposal, but I think if you had to do it, you had to do it through Congress because the revoking birthright citizenship crap is not happening, okay? Don't let them eat your brain up. They didn't. But Donald Trump is making this huge scandal about how he's going to start denaturalizing. And in particular, he's picking on Ilhan Omar, who supposedly married her brother in order to attain American citizenship, which is a big no-no. You're not supposed to do that. I think you're supposed to marry your brother in general, but to get American citizenship, I think even that is illegal. You're not allowed to have green card marriages. So Patrick Bet-David, who is an insider, we have determined here, he is a guy that knows a little bit of everything, a master baiter, a master grifter, a master, spoke about this. And let's watch. Let's see really quick. Body Delino says, did you see he just rescheduled marijuana to a Schedule 3 drug? Another L, weed should be banned. What? That base department? Completely. I believe in decriminalization at most. So, but I understand marijuana is a very damaging drug. Let's watch what PBD had to say here.
Ilhan Omar's Flamboyant, dirty dandy second husband surfaces in South Africa as Trump accuses duo of being siblings. Okay, and then she is being under investigation for immigration fraud from Trump border czar. Tom, what's going on here with Ilhan Omar?
So the facts are coming home to roost, and people like Ted Cruz and others, while she's in a weakened state because of what's going on, she's trying to defend the Somalis, but all the receipts are coming out about the fraud in Minnesota. People are turning up the heat, appropriately so, saying, hey, did you commit immigration fraud under the laws of that time of marrying your brother? I believe Elmi was his name. Did you do that? And now they're turning up the heat on it because apparently he was rarely here. And then before they even got divorced, I guess he took off for the UK, was a professor at University of Bristol or something. And so everybody's like, wow, hang on here. This doesn't really look like a loving, enduring marriage. You mean, where are the kids? Where's the cohabitation? Where's the evidence? And so we used to live in Southern California, Pat, and we used to know that there were some really dirty organizations. We would see it in the newspaper out there. We didn't know these things personally, of where people would be encouraged to marry, women from the Philippines or women from Vietnam. And all they wanted to do was get them to LA, give you a couple $1,000s for marrying them.
Now, this is absolutely true. And this is one of the reasons that I can't completely hate the idea of modifying American Jew solis. If you go to Sunny Isles, which is like an hour from me in Florida, it's in the South Florida, there are literally companies that are set up to make sure Russian women give birth on American soil. And they are flown here 8 months pregnant. They lie on their application, and they have a baby here who gets an American passport. Now, some people disagree because it's for national security purposes. For me, mostly, it just feels like cheating, and it feels like a messed up industry to exist. You don't know if the person who's having the baby is being exploited by someone. Excuse me. You don't know. You don't know if the people who are doing this whole thing, it's a spy operation. You have no idea, okay? I remember this was happening a lot with Russians in South Florida. Chinese were doing it as well. And this is something that is a little scary. You should not. I think it is a national security risk, man. Venezuela, this happened a lot in Venezuela as well. And it's not a great way to run a country. I don't think it's a great way. Because then you have a diaspora that you don't even know who they are. That was the reason I expected Trump to attack Jew solis, but instead we got because of the illegal immigrants. And I don't think that's as big of a problem as these other people. These other people have means. You should be more suspicious of them. The other people are just showing up to, as we always say, pick fruits and fix cars, as any Hispanic like myself likes to do. We love to pick a fruit. Today I picked a tomato. So they are not really the big issue. In my mind, maybe I'm mistaken. This is the first time I see a Trump surrogate, which PBD is through the back door, address this. Finally.
And then they turn them into sexual slaves. It was horrible. But we saw it. It was in LA. It was in the LA Times. They would bust these gangs all the time for what was going on there. And so now Ted is saying, hang on, Ilhan Omar. Let's pause on the fraud investigations for what you're doing to the American taxpayer for a second. And let's ask a question. Did you come here illicitly? And if you came here illicitly and were never really married or cohabitating, or you married your brother, if that's what you did, then guess what? We want to bring the justice down on you. And, maybe we don't put you in handcuffs and have the ICE people, but you should be out of here. And that's what Ted Cruz and other people are saying. And now the heat's getting turned up because people see that she's weak and they can go after her because she's very busy trying to help Walls defend himself from all of the Somali fraud.
Yeah, weird. Well, I said this last week. If people like Ilhan Omar and Tim Walz had just kept their mouths shut and stopped bringing attention to themselves, they probably would have got, away with all of this, with marrying your brother to bring him into the country, to they're saying the number could be $8 billion worth of fraud statewide. It's just all that stuff if you just kept your mouth shut, but you don't want to. So just, on top of this weekend being crazy, her brother was detained by ICE, but he had his passport and they let him go.
And so here we have, because we have to read between the lines, this return, it was higher level with Mr. Tom. It was about people that are exploiting immigration law to have American children. That could be a national security threat. To the talisman of Ilhan Omar. What did she do to make them that angry? Ilhan Omar is just a cute Somali girl trying to make laws. What is wrong with Ilhan Omar? What did she do? So Ilhan Omar, and this is why I don't think anything is going to actually happen, because immediately Vinny, the heel of the show, the loudest one on the show, goes into using Ilhan Omar as the example. This to me, it shows that this is just red meat for the base. Nothing is going to be done. If you can't have a serious conversation for more than 15 seconds about real immigration reform, real reform to citizenship law, to birthright citizenship, without turning it into a, let's say, not racially tinged, but country tinged conversation about one particular person in government that you don't like, then I don't think you're going to do anything. I don't think you're serious about it at all. I think it's all bullshit. I think this is just for people to get riled up with it and think, oh yeah, then Ilhan Omar is going to get denaturalized. Yeah, good luck with that. Good luck with that.
Oh, she made a comment on that. And also, Pat, did you know this? In 2016, she pleaded with a judge to show leniency to 9 Somalians in Minnesota who were charged for trying to join ISIS. That's Ilhan Omar. Did you know that?
Say that again.
In 2000, you know what, Pat? Let's have a reporter just go ahead. Go ahead, Rob. Go ahead.
2 days ago, but it seems Minnesota Representative-elect Ilhan Omar may have already made her first move as an elected official. In a letter signed November 8th, Omar asks a U.S. district judge for compassion when sentencing 9 Minnesota Somali American men convicted of trying to join the terrorist group ISIS. She says the best deterrent to fanaticism is a system of compassion. We must alter our attitude and approach if we truly want to affect change.
And this is the most alpha we're going to...
Feel free to push back. I'm comfortable with it. And then there's the...
This is the most alpha we're going to get out of this, man. If PBD taught us anything, is that people love to watch. Vinny is the personification of the Trump voter that's still on side. This person who just wants to yell and scream about Ilhan Omar. I would like to conversate about potentially reforming birthright citizenship so it can't be exploited. But the reality is that what people actually want, the normie, the nihilist, in the words of Nick Fuentes, the Goyim, want is to have the president yell about the black lady in Congress from Somalia. That's what people actually want. They don't want anything to actually be done. What I wonder is, one of my favorite things to do every couple months is I go on Wikipedia and I look up the list of people who received the Order of Lenin, which was set up as a rival to the Nobel Prize in the Soviet Union. And Angela Davis received it. A lot of people that are still alive received the Order of Lenin. And what I wonder is how they felt about the Order of Lenin when the Berlin Wall fell. When it was proven that everything the Soviet Union had done, this honor that had been bestowed on them, was now essentially meaningless. I think that's what Trump has largely done with this administration. It's all executive orders. It's all crap like this. It's stuff that will not get through the courts. How do the supporters deal with this when inevitably the very handsome Gavin Newsom is elected governor in 2028, hopefully with Barry Weiss, my wife, as his vice president, and rescinds literally everything he did? How is that going to feel? How is that going to feel to the Trump supporter? What is Vinny going to say? Is he going to reflect and say, maybe Donald did not do everything he promised. Maybe Donald kind of screwed us over. So That's the alpha we can get from this. Ridiculous, dude. Ridiculous. Bit of an intimate show tonight. We're on time to end. Let me pull up here. First of all, everyone drop a like, please. Drop a like. If you're new here, subscribe. It's free. It takes half a second. The channel's growing pretty fast, man. Pretty fast. I got a lot of nice compliments lately, too. Pretty fast. So I'm very glad to see it, but it can always grow faster. So be sure to drop a like and a subscribe. Now, what I want to announce again is here is our Discord, which is free. The link is in the description. We have a couple people in there right now, including Aria. Where's Aria? Where's Aria at? We have also the What Would Piers Morgan Do parody bracelet, okay? Or the What Would a Postmodernist Do parody bracelet. We'll get into Piers next week. And here we have the Patreon, which we actually got our first member, who is Audio Vibes with the lower tier. Appreciate you, Audio Vibes, if you're out there. Here we have the King Leo Movie Club, which has started. I'm shooting the next episode tonight. It's either going to be weekly or bi-weekly. The first one was about the Truman Show. So the link is in the description. $5, $20 a month gets you the exclusive show. I am not going to be able to stream tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen, and I have to figure out how we're going to go next week. It's the Christmas week next week. How are we going to stream it? I have to meet up with a friend tomorrow that's was out of town for a while, so I'm not going to be able to make it. And I'm not going to be able to make it next Friday either because I have to take my trip up to James Fishback's backyard in North Florida. But we might do a stream on Monday and Tuesday. I don't know if we can do one on the 24th for the white people. The 24th is the important day for Hispanics, not the 25th. So we do the celebrating on that day. And since we're in America, we celebrate both days. So we may not be able to stream on those days. But I will let you know. You guys let me know. If you get in Discord, we can plan it out there too. So I appreciate all you guys tuning in. We have Mr. Full Hat, Ephra, Spring, Mr. Elu, Pajarito Lindo, Iron Hammer Forge, Robert with the super chat. Appreciate you, sir. I hate everything. Who else was here, man? Tracy. Was Audio Vibes here? They were not. So I appreciate everyone here coming in. Let me catch up with the chat real quick and we'll get out of here. Spring says, I thought the Order of Lenin was a pastrami on rye with a smooch of mustard. That's a good one. Is that an actual sandwich? Fuad says, and they were cheering and dancing in the streets of Somalia that day. Which day? Let me go back here. That bitch gotta go. She hates America. She just go back the way back machine and listen to what she said for the past 10 years, specifically what she said about 9/11 attack. Well, I remember what she said. She said some people did something, which was, it was not Hassan level inappropriate. But yes, I understand why people would be sensitive about that. But I don't think she's leaving the country anytime soon, my friend. Ephra says, in the end, we will learn that there is no perfect economic system. Absolutely. They will all fail. Absolutely. Even the Mona Lisa is falling apart. Mystery Lou says, Aria probably got tired of the Groypers. No, she's still in the Discord, so we'll see. Spring says, I have discovered the perfect economy. It is called Utopianomics. Do we have a Thomas More fan here? Have you read Utopia? It's a good book. Catholic saint, English guy, odd combination. Everything says we open gifts on the 24th. Yes, we do. And everyone's saying good show. I appreciate all of you guys tuning in. Join the Patreon, join the Discord, get a bracelet, join the channel, $2 a month, whatever you want. Appreciate you guys, and I will see you tomorrow. Thank you again, Robert, for the super chat.
Change the world. My final message. Goodbye. Change the world. My final message. Goodbye. Change the world. My final message.